spoiling it! You're spoiling everything!
And here we go.
At one point in the game, they deliberately kill Barrett just to have him brought back to life by the Fate
that's
thing.
right. Yeah.
I feel like that.
I honestly forgot about that.
Is there just to be like, that is 100% there just to be like, hey, every character has this huge death flag now. Like,
That's true.
no one is safe.
I wouldn't be surprised if they kill Tifa, but then again, it's like this is the problem. With,
I think it could work though. Because like Tifa is like, let's be real here, like the reason everything worked out in the original. You know,
pretty much, yeah.
Because without Tifa, then it's like, oh, then Cloud never gets better and never is like, oh yeah,
he never
I am
changes.
I am a person and not
A
like,
jerk.
a freaking weird space parasite clone. Like,
yeah.
and then
because
so
Sephiroth
it's like,
didn't
huh.
have that. Like he nothing connected him to the real world.
Because let me put it this way: Aerith didn't need to be there, like, for any other reason other than like, oh, activating Holy, and that already happened when she died.
Yeah.
So it's like, huh? So she can live, and like, you know, it doesn't really impact Sephiroth's plan at all. Like,
right? Because Aerith, I mean, she's just a plot device, really. She's also a red herring at the same time. Because
it's like,
she was important, but she wasn't. It's weird. I don't know. And so I
it's like,
definitely feel like Remake is going to try and just make
Aerith
all like uber important.
I think this is gonna happen because I feel like the reason what they're going for isn't to like just recreate what you remember. It's very much to make you like feel like you did back in the day. And that's a lot easier for positive emotions, you know, excitement and like, you know, like humor and stuff, and be like, oh yeah, I remember this. But for like sad things, especially in media, you can like brace yourself and be like, oh yeah,
I know this.
I know Aerith is gonna die anyway. So how do you make it worse? You don't kill Aerith.
Yeah, I've noticed that with I'm rewatching Game of Thrones with my sister, and I'm like, I was like, oh, I know this character death is coming, and then it like doesn't faze me because I'm like, oh, it's my favorite character and they're dead, and I don't care. You know, I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. I could see Cloud killing Aerith. Possibly.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that.
What if this instead? How about if they make it heart-wrenching like this, where it's like, even though Fate no longer exists, they're at the point where it's like the party, like Sephiroth's like, I ain't killing Aerith. I ain't doing nothing.
What if he realizes that
party
he needs
is at
Aerith?
the point where it's like the party, like the party's at the point where they're just like, we have to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, for the sake of the planet. That would suck.
Yeah. Because
he says like the 7 seconds thing, and apparently that's like both the time it took to kill Aerith, but also like the amount of time Omni Slash takes or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, huh, what if it's not neither? What if it's both?
I also was like,
Sephiroth screws up Cloud's mind to the point where he Omni Slashes Aerith to death.
Oh man, that would be cool, because you could kind of just make Zack the main character of Remake 2 or even 3, you know?
Yeah, who knows?
But it's so crazy to me that like, I like that they're doing this. Like, a lot of people were complaining back, especially when the game came out, how different it was. And it was
marketed as a remake.
It was true. But at the same time, the way that they've approached this, and they've talked about it, and they've been developing it for 200 years, right? It's like, it almost would have been boring if it just was the exact same.
It's the thing where I personally feel that the next games are going to determine whether or not it was worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, okay. Because unlike other things where it's like, oh, you know, we don't really know how it would work out if it wasn't this way. Like, this one, we definitely know kind of how it would work if they just focused on recreating things. Because 85% of this, 90% of this game is recreating things to an incredibly high degree.
Yeah.
Like, in making them like so good.
Yeah.
All the things you remember. So it's like there is
It still has
the thing where people thought it was like, you know, it could have been just a thing where they just recreated things to the quality that they already have, and it would have been incredible. You know, it is a gamble to do this.
Right.
I do think that the meta stuff is gone now, and I'm kind of happy about that.
The like ghost things.
Yeah, because that's like the ending. You know.
Yeah.
That's like.
I mean, that's.
I feel like that was the whole plot of. That was Sephiroth's whole like plan.
Yeah, it was. I also just like the other thing that kind of worries me is structure wise. Like if they're going to do, let's say 3 games, right? Like, do we have to fight Sephiroth 3 times at the end of each game? Like, they got to do something different. I think.
I think the other like parts of the game have a much better climax. I would think than Midgar does.
Yeah,
because Midgar kind of ends with just like a general robot.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
Like, okay.
And the elevator.
Yeah. Like, I definitely feel like Midgar definitely needed a like more climactic kind of thing.
I also wonder. I don't think they're going to do it, but even just a port of Crisis Core would be really nice for people. Because
I think
I want them to.
I was watching,
but then that also kind of it might subvert people's expectations. Like, oh, the Crisis Core. Oh, let's see. Oh, they're not going to do this because alternate reality. But
yeah, but I was watching a discussion about remake and like the spoilers and stuff, and one guy was just like, "Okay, so we got 4 levels here." Like of like complexity and stuff. Or, like level 1 is like, yeah, they're plot ghosts and they're like the fans, and it's like, oh, you know,
yeah, they want
they just want to do something different. And level 2 is like Sephiroth is from the future, and like
yeah,
he knows everything. It's like, yeah, I think I forgot what level 4 was. It was something stupid, but at one point they were just like 100%. You're gonna get to the golden saucer. Jessie's gonna be alive, and she's gonna be like, "What's Avalanche?"
We definitely know that Biggs is alive.
Biggs. I think White's probably alive to a degree too.
And what's his face is alive too.
Off-camera death is like,
yeah. Well, Jessie. I mean, both Jessie and Biggs we see die, but obviously Biggs got you know what I mean. But like Biggs got to like he actually survived.
Biggs survived.
Yeah,
he survived. Like. Jessie's the only thing you see of Jessie to give you an insinuation that she might be alive is like her glove.
Yeah, and it would also be really bizarre because of how much they fleshed her out. You know what I mean? And
that's why I feel
her
like
a whole mission,
whole backstory about her wanting to be in the play in the Golden Saucer. So it's like, you get to the Golden Saucer and there's Jessie in the play.
That would be cool,
and
man.
She doesn't know any of you, and it's like, what?
Like, that was genuinely one of my favorite things about the remake was Jessie, because, like, she was just a cute little girl in the first game, and then she dies, and you forget about her. But in the remake, dude, they, like, made her awesome.
Through Midgar, it's insane how much they fleshed it out.
It's crazy.
Midgar in the original is like, okay, chapters in the remake are literally 2 screens in the original.
Yeah.
Like, it's obscene.
The train yard is like 2.5 missions.
From what I've heard, that's the one chapter where I'm like, okay, this was poorly played.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was probably my least favorite part of the game.
You could have a ghost train yard chapter, but not a side story about dead children.
Yeah, and the boss fight wasn't very good either. But it's just me.
Dude, the boss fights, from what I've played of remake, is like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they got these on lock.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious what you think of the Sephiroth fight. Because I found it very anticlimactic, which is, it's hard to do, right? Because it's like, this is obviously not when we're going to kill Sephiroth, but it's like, what do you do with that? It's like the Star Wars syndrome where it's like, oh, you just either lose or you kill them, you know? You lose your hand and they get away, or you kill the bad guy or whatever, you know? It's like, what do you do with that, right? It's like, you can't kill Darth Vader in the first movie, you know? His TIE fighter just gets blown away.
True.
So it's like a dilemma with that, but I definitely am looking forward to replaying it when and if it gets its PS5 patch, because I assume what they'll do is with the release of the multi-platform versions, they're going to do a next-gen upgrade then, is my guess. Like, I don't think they're just going to say, oh, Final Fantasy VII Remake out on Xbox One. I think it's going to be a Series X version as well as the PC version, but we'll see. But that will be when the PS5,
that came out
in 2020. What a great segue, Gabe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Semanti-Cast, where we argue semantics about video games and other fun things. Obviously, today we have Gabe here. I made the same joke last time, but he's never on the show, so welcome him.
Yeah, man, first time here. It's pretty great.
Long time viewer, first time co-host. But so today we kind of wanted to go over things in gaming that happened last year and kind of our final thoughts about
review,
because
what we played.
We're lazy and it's easy content.
Okay. I stopped you from talking about this before we started, but you've played through Dad of Boy. You've played through God of War 2018, it's
a video game,
which is something I get on honestly too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a personality trait.
To close this chapter off, to close the loop. Why? What do you think?
I liked it.
You liked it?
It was a 7.5 out of 10. I don't know.
Hell yeah, we're in the same place.
I didn't love it. I will say I loved like the first hour or like 2 hours. Some of the like just. What an intro, what a great way to like introduce the gameplay to you, the world, like the new era, if you will. The presentation was great. I liked how you weren't quite sure what Atreus was going to be doing. Like, you weren't sure if, like, I knew that he was a big part of the game, but I didn't think he would be like your partner throughout the whole thing. And I don't know. And I liked it's like, oh, we gotta climb a mountain. Boom, that's it. And then obviously it's a 20-hour game, so it's not just climbing a mountain, but I don't know, that first hour was really like good, which is a shame because the rest of the game kind of just fell off for me. But it wasn't what I expected. I'll let you talk in a second, but
I mean, I'm listening to you for this one.
Okay. It was a lot more video gamey than I expected. I didn't expect there to be like a skill tree and like EXP, or not XP, but you know what I mean, like ways to level up your character, upgrade your armor, crafting. I was honestly just really expecting something like the Order 1886, where you just go through a level and a cutscene plays, and then you go through a level and a cutscene plays. And so I was really surprised by that. I was surprised how many puzzles there were. They got really old after a while. Just throw your axe at yellow and puzzle. But the first few like puzzles that you have earlier in the game, like the first 4 hours, I thought were solid, and I was surprised how like engaging those puzzles were, because I don't know, like I said this last time, but like The Last of Us 1, for example, as much as I love that game, the puzzles suck. It's just is like, move this ladder here, climb it, pick it up, move it here.
That isn't a puzzle.
It's not. It's just a buffer. But I just found, I don't even know if you'd call them puzzles in God of War either, but like, I was really surprised when I was like 3 hours into the game, and it was like, you don't have that ability yet, come back later. And I don't even think I ever went back once I got the ability.
It ranges from like the worst of Zelda puzzles, like the most basic of like, oh yes, hit
shoot
the eyeball.
Eye. Yeah.
To The Last of Us, somehow this crystal is very heavy for Kratos.
Yeah, true.
Who lifts monolithic statues with relative ease.
He needs.
He can't move beyond a walking pace with.
Obviously
this.
not. I mean, clearly. I mean, obviously, the game is just like its presentation is its best aspect, I think. I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The voice acting was really solid. I loved like the momentum that cutscenes had because, I mean, the whole gimmick is it's one shot. Yeah, and
aside from like once
when you die, or you pause the game.
When it's when you go like you're in Alfheim and like you go into the light.
Oh yeah, you use the Bifrost.
And then you have not the Bifrost, but like it's the thing where you have like the little like dream hallucination thing.
Oh yeah, the flashback kind of
come out. Yeah, and like Atreus is like, "Yo, you were in there for hours." And it's like,
true. Okay. I will say that,
but you know that one little bit overall in a game that's a majorly one shot in cinematics and stuff. Yeah, that's impressive.
I could also kind of start to feel like by the time I was finished with the Alfheim section, I was kind of realizing the game wasn't working for me all the way because I was like already tired of the gameplay loop, which I don't think was a good thing. And at the same time, it's like I didn't have all these upgrades yet, but it's like I almost just quit, really. But I don't know. I kept going. I want to say something that I don't know if you'll agree with, but the game reminded me of Resident Evil 4 in a lot of ways.
I mean, I haven't played Resident Evil 4.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, like just how close. Like just how close the camera is to you, and like the fact that your field of view is super narrow, and you have to like turn around. I mean, there's literally a quick turn, like a Resident Evil quick turn in God of War.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I like that. And you have it's kind of just an escort mission the whole game. I don't know. It reminded me of that in like a goofy little weird way. Yeah. But I don't know.
There are issues with how close the camera is in combat.
I definitely realized, yeah.
Certain areas. And it's like, okay, like if you're doing that camera angle, you need to go for God Hand. Like, you need to go
Capcom
because God Hand is because I mean the game looks like garbage, but that's so that the game is entirely functional. Like, it's so incredibly simple and stuff, but that makes it so that you always are aware of like everything that's happening.
And it's not like Resident Evil 4 where that narrow perspective kind of helps the game because it's almost like a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, you can't really see enemies around you, but that's the point because it's a horror survival game. Whereas God of War also is like a power fantasy, and so having that narrow field of view,
range, you know,
but having that limited field of view was just bizarre to me, especially since the previous games in the series were all like it's like Devil May Cry, where it's like a fixed perspective and you kind of follow them around in a 3D environment. Whereas there was like genuine camera control and you're just right up there in the action.
I feel like a big thing they were going for in God of War was definitely like the cinematic angle, you know?
Yeah.
Which is kind of my biggest gripe with it. Not because I think it's a bad thing, but very much like in interviews and such. Like there was at one point where it was like at some game convention or something where like I don't know who said it, but someone was like describing the game. I think it was on the team, and they're just like, it's not a game script, it's a script. And it's like, okay. So it's very much like built from the perspective that like, oh yeah, games are lesser, so we need to be more like film so we can actually be respected.
I agree with you, but
that's the mindset that's like, I don't like that.
That's why I was surprised with how gamey it was. That's why I was surprised by the puzzle elements, the exploration, the collectibles, because I was expecting what you described, where it's just like again, like the Order 1886, where literally all you do is shoot people and go through rooms, open doors, and cutscenes. I was honestly just expecting that with a little bit of, you know, some things here and there, but like that wasn't what the game was at all. And like the combat was actually pretty challenging towards the end.
And that's why it feels like conflicted, you know?
Yeah.
That's like the big thing. I do think the RPG mechanics in the game are not good.
Matthew Matosis actually did a video quite recently where he basically talked about how every game is trying to be an RPG, like even games that shouldn't try to be are. And I was thinking about that while watching his video, because I was like, oh my god, that's like God of War. Like, did God of War really need to have 37 upgrades for Atreus? Like, no, it didn't. Not really.
Like, I'm down for a skill tree when it's like interesting things you get,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But like the armor and like the arbitrary like armor leveling where it's
Yeah.
quite literally it doesn't dictate any challenge, but if you're like 2 levels lower than some enemies, you quite literally cannot do damage.
Yeah. That was
and they kill you in
bothersome.
one hit.
I also didn't really
And
want to
when they're
change
the
my
same
appearance.
enemies you've been facing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah. I also didn't like that just from like a aesthetic perspective. Like, I just kind of didn't want to change Kratos's outfits. Like, I wanted him to just be, you know, the guy with like no shirt and like a little strap around him. Like, that's what I wanted, but it's like I had to put on this stupid little like dwarven armor bull crap. But that's like a personal thing. That's not
like
really
his right peck, and it's like, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you first can get that like big bulky armor that you can wear, I was like, why would I wear this? Like, this is not Kratos. I was like, no. But I don't know. I'm glad I played it because it definitely how do I say this? I can totally see why people adore it because the emotional like story worked for me. Just like the
me too.
Just like the presentation, but it's like all the little twists and turns and like the story was good. I was surprised how much I liked Atreus.
Aside from like the Atreus' evil now segment.
Yeah, but
arbitrarily for an hour and a half he becomes the worst.
I'm telling you, it's the Morgana Palace 5 arc. It's the same thing. It's every game has to do it. Every game got to have it.
You don't.
It's like in Harry Potter when all of his friends are like douchey to Harry. It's like, oh, okay. Gotta do this now. But I don't know, like if I feel like, I mean, from what I understand, during the development of the game, it was kind of a train wreck. Like, Sony executives hated it and were like, this is terrible. What are you doing to Kratos? Why is he picking flowers? You know, why is there a witch lady that's like fucking belittling Kratos? Like, what is going on? What are you doing? And then like they were saying that the gameplay, they hated it. Like, they were like, I don't like, you know, it's way too restrictive, blah 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 blah. And it's like everything that that kind of were staples of the series before, like, oh, you know, sex and Kratos is just a womanizer, and it's all gone, and it just like I remember seeing like people really pissed off that there wasn't like barely any nudity in the game when the game was coming out. Like, I remember people being annoyed about this, and then obviously like it came out. It's this, you know, really successful single player game with like no weird business practices surrounding it.
Like a full game, that's like full and it has content. And it's
and it like was really successful too.
This is what we should do, and it isn't buggy.
Yeah, it was a really polished experience. Easily one of the more polished games ever. I will say one thing that really bothered me by like hour 3 of the game was, you know, you're in these kind of very limiting, restrictive environments that are very narrow at points. And I felt like every combat scenario, I was just punching people into the corner. And it bothered me so much. I was like, what in the world? Like, it was so annoying. Like, I wanted to juggle them through the open area, but it was like every time I beat someone up, they just get pushed into the wall. And I was like, ugh, that bothered me a lot. Also, Kratos is just Captain America with the shield. Like, come on. Like, that was awesome.
The Leviathan axe is dope, though.
The shield, like, the everything. Like, I will say that's the problem.
There's
like,
a lot of good, but there's some things where I'm like, okay,
it's a solid game, but
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it sucks that some of the upgrades to your moveset actively made the moveset feel worse.
Yeah,
because like there's the cleave, right? Where it's like holding. Well, now it's like whenever I just want to do a standard heavy attack,
they always did it. Yeah.
There's weird stickiness where it's trying to detect it, so it actually gets worse. So it's like, oh, but in other games,
but not everyone's going to get that upgrade either.
It's like the first upgrade in the tree. You know, not everyone's gonna get it, but as far as I remember from not doing a lot of side content, I unlocked most of the upgrades.
Oh, okay. See,
especially not.
I kind of gave up buying upgrades towards the end. I just was like, I
You
just
just
want to
didn't
finish.
buy any?
No, I mean, I bought a lot of them, but I didn't get them all. I was like, there was literally a point where I made a decision where I'm like, I don't want this. I'm just gonna finish.
Like, maybe
the
you
game.
don't unlock, like, the very end of trees, but you're definitely gonna unlock, like,
I
the
have.
starting ones,
Yeah,
where
oh,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, I unlocked the one where it's like, oh, I do a move out of a dash now. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, now I can't run in and doing this because now it feels like crap. But in other games, what I was getting to is like Bayonetta, you can just turn off those command moves if
Oh,
you don't like them.
interesting. I mean, you could do that in fucking Infamous, fucking 2007. You could do that shit.
Yeah. It's that kind of thing where it's like, okay, I would very much appreciate if I could turn off this
Yeah.
so then I could play comfortably again. But
Yeah.
are you okay? I guess to close this off, are you interested
in the sequel?
in God of War Ragnarok?
Yeah. I mean, I think. Okay. I feel like I say this about a lot of games recently. Like, I've been saying this about Breath of the Wild for, like, years. Where I'm like, the sequel is going to be better. Like, no matter what they do, it's going to be better. I don't really subscribe to that anymore. But when that game was brand new and, like,
Good.
I was already having problems with it, like the rain, just certain aspects, I was like, okay, there's so many things that if they improve upon that, the second game's going to be way better, and it's going to be great, and it'll be better than this. Which is saying a lot, because Breath of the Wild is still pretty good. But I don't know if I can say that about God of War, because my main thing is I want the game to be shorter, which they're not going to do. They're going to make it longer. They're going to make it this big epic thing because that's what people expect. But like, I don't know. I'd love if they make it just this very like core just like experience, kind of like, I don't know, Portal 1 is always the game I bring up, but it's like that game is
Speaking
like
of games
3
we played
hours
this year.
long, and it's amazing, and yet it's so replayable because the puzzles are engaging, the very little combat that there is fun, and it's like, if I don't know, Portal 1's a perfect game, so it's a little unfair to compare Ragnarok. Well,
I mean, like, a lot of those older PS2 games are kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then even then, once those series got longer, like Devil May Cry,
each game
now
gets
that
longer.
the games are longer, now they've added a mode where it's just like a tower of like progressively harder challenges. It's like, can you reach floor 100? So you can get that just core.
Gotcha.
You can get that core experience of like, I just want to hop in and I just want to do some gameplay and like,
right,
get some challenge out of it.
Because that's another thing I kind of wanted to kind of bring up eventually is like, I play a lot of games, right? Like, I think every month I'll probably try and play maybe 5 or 6 different games all the way through at least. It doesn't happen, obviously.
I'm surprised at how many I played this year. Like, started and finished this year. It's insane.
I've noticed, like, okay, I played through the entirety of Resident Evil 7 in like 2 days. I loved most of it. And I was like, but I got to a point where I was like, I don't even feel like I need to finish this to be happy with the game. It's like, I feel like finishing it is almost going to make me like the game less, which is such a weird thing, because it's like, imagine being a game developer and hearing me say that. It's like, no, the game developer wants me to fucking finish the game and experience the entirety of it, right? But it's like, as a gamer, it's like, I feel like I already got out of this game what I needed to. Like, I don't need to finish it. But I don't know. It's such an interesting thing, because
I think a lot of games could do with being shorter,
Yeah, and
I think that's because like very much a thing that is marketable and is like, oh, this is how we get people to pay for it. It's like the time equals money investment.
40-hour open world, right? Like, that's the thing. People are like,
yeah.
But it's also this weird balance where people complain that the game's too short, but it's also $60 or even $70 if it's a PS5 game. But then people are like, oh, it's too short, blah, blah, blah. But then people also complain that a game's too long. So it's like, dude, let me tell you, I own 5.
Sides of the argument. I think it's 2 sides of like the perspective. I think some people who like buy only a game every once in a while and they're more casual are like, hell yeah, I want a game that's long.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm going to be playing for months. But when it's like me and you, and at least for me, it's like this is my core medium of entertainment. I'm like, I'm good with games being shorter, unless it's something where it's like I'm playing it more because I enjoy it and I'm like replaying it,
right?
Like that loop. You know,
I see what you mean. It also probably depends the type of the game too, because like an action adventure game, you're probably only going to play through it once if you really like it twice. But like, for example, I'm trying not to bring up Resident Evil because it's what I've been diving into recently again. But I'll say Portal again. Like you can play Portal 20 times, and I feel like personally, I would rather play Portal 20 times than Ghost of Tsushima. You know. And it's like both
Portal
games
20 times rather than Ghost of Tsushima again?
Yeah. Okay. Obviously that's stipulated because I've already like halfway through Ghost of Tsushima again. But it's like I don't know. It's so unfair because Portal's perfect and like Ghost of Tsushima's not, God of War isn't, fucking Last of Us 2 isn't, and yet like I played through Last of Us 2 5 times. So who am I to complain? Like I like long games clearly, but I don't know.
Like I feel like I can definitely tolerate long games where it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of reading, because like I just like to read.
Persona 5.
Yeah. And even just like, you know, like games where it doesn't have that much of a plot or a story, but it's a lot of like lore and item descriptions and stuff.
Hades.
I'm like, oh hell yeah. Give me this. Like,
that's actually the new
thing, that's like reading thing.
That's the new Assassin's Creed. I feel like half the time I'm just like reading what an item does and like the buffs and debuffs if I upgrade it. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, not even that. I'm talking like the Souls thing where like there's the item description and it's like
yeah.
In the ancient mountains of
I got you. The grimoire aspect, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, that's tight. That's ooh. Yeah.
But then it's like, why don't you go read a book? You know, it's like, ooh, it's just such a weird balance.
But I am reading a book in a game.
That is true. It's like Skyrim, where like I'm actually one of those people that like reads the books and shit. Like even if I'm playing like Resident Evil 2 for the 20th time, and like I've read this one little book like 5 times, it's like I'll read it again. You know, why not? I'll read Dr. Birkin's report about the G virus. I'll do it. I don't care.
Itchy tasty.
Oh, that one I read every time, obviously. That one's a classic,
it's
dude.
It's a classic, man. It's
but yeah, I don't know. God of War, like...
God of War, it's a real good game.
It's good, but I wish I loved it more, because... But I guarantee you, if I played God of War 5 years ago, like, before I really, really, like, played games a lot, like, back when I played 1 or 2 games... I probably would have loved it. Like if God of War 2018 came out when The Last of Us 1 came out, like, and you know, reverse the two, I feel like obviously God of War wouldn't exist if Last of Us didn't, but please take the scenario for what it is. I think my love for The Last of Us and its gameplay that people like to shit on, and its story and all that, everything about it, I think I'd have the same level, because they're very similar games in a lot of ways. And so it bothers me that it's like, oh, there's so much here that I would love, but I don't know.
I think what it is all of those games that you mentioned, and even more from Naughty Dog and Insomniac.
Because I love Naughty Dog style games.
A lot of Western style games. They're very much, I mean, they've kind of achieved their goal in aiming for that cinematic experience, because they've pretty much created games that are on the same level as like blockbusters for movies, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, hell yeah, they're fun, and like, but I definitely feel like even if you're like a really like, I am a film buff, you're gonna eventually be like, oh yeah, it's a blockbuster, yeah, like it was good, like I enjoyed it. But like when, you know, you're not like a huge like, I'm super into this and I'm looking for that deep stuff, I'm just here to enjoy it, it's like, hell yeah, dude, that was sick.
And I've noticed a trend too, like the games that I really like are those quote unquote blockbuster style, like like Resident Evil 4, you know, fucking Last of Us,
call that
Uncharted and GTA. Like
I would say like Uncharted and GTA stuff. I feel like Resident Evil 4 is like, it's too short. I guess is the way.
Really? Resident Evil 4 is like a long game. It's probably longer than Uncharted. It's like 12 hours.
Maybe. I think Resident Evil 4. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm gonna I haven't played it. I'm not gonna trash on it yet in other games yet.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It feels different though. You know?
I don't know. It bothers me because I was thinking about this at work, right? Where I feel like I put again. This kind of goes back to like I care way too much what people think, even though that person that I think cares too much what I think doesn't exist. But like I feel like if I dare as much try to criticize Dark Souls, right? That's a really good game to never criticize, because someone will have an entire paragraph already ready in response to why you're wrong.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, I want to really like a game like that, but the way that I've grown up and played games and the games I've experienced, it's like they're different, and so they've conditioned me into a different way where I find the design in Dark Souls really frustrating. Right? Mm-hmm. But like to someone, the way that Dark Souls is designed, they adore it. They're like, I love how it's a challenge. I like how it's not just a like you push one button and you win. And like for someone, they love that. For me, I enjoy it kind of, but I don't. It's not like, I don't know.
It's not your thing,
right? And it bothers me that it's not, because like clearly, like someone loves this game and it's like kind of held in this high regard, and the games I like are all normie trash. Like it bothers me, but whatever. That's kind of how I felt about God of War, where I was like, wow, I don't like this, and I should, because this is like everything it's doing is trying to make me like it, and I don't. So
you looked down at your hands and you're just like, what have I become?
Yeah. Yeah, because like when I tell someone, it's like when someone tells you their favorite game is Skyrim. That's how I feel, where it's like, really? Like Skyrim? Like it's good, but like really? I don't know. It's like, that's how I feel sometimes when I'm like, yeah, dude, I like Halo 2 because I'm weird. But I don't know.
God of War is the ultimate, like, yeah, it's good. Like,
I mean, but at the same time, if someone were to tell me it was their favorite game, I wouldn't really bat an eye. I'd be like, yeah, it's good, you know?
Yeah.
But if someone told me their favorite game is like, go ahead.
If someone was like super into games though, like I'm saying like very much like, hell yeah, dude, I'm out here playing Ikaruga in my free time. And God of War is my favorite. I'd be like, huh.
Yeah,
that'd be a little bit suspicious.
It's kind of it's just, I don't know. Obviously, I care way too much what people think, but it's like some of my favorite games are like the generic games that people really like, and it's like that's boring.
Well, yeah,
like I want my favorite game to be Devil May Cry 5, right? It's like, I don't know. I want to be interesting.
I want to be weird.
It's like I prefer Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask, which I think says a lot about me as a person, right? And it's like that.
I'm a piece of trash who deserves to be stoned.
Exactly. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know exactly what I mean when I say that too. I prefer Ocarina of Time over Majora's Mask. You know what that means. You may not really know, but you know.
You know.
Anyways,
I am a security being.
Speaking of Majora's Mask, did you play any Zelda games this last year?
I did not play any Zelda games this past year.
Because I finally played Twilight Princess on the Wii U. I played all of it, because I never finished it.
Okay, Scott.
Till now. What's that?
I have my number up.
Okay, I haven't counted mine.
How many games? I'm going by the bracket of that I started and finished this year. Okay. With some leeway for like the first couple days of 2021. Okay. Because it's like, okay, I finished Hades on January 2nd, but I played it for 30 hours in 2020.
Well, how many times? Like, okay, when you say finish Hades, that means you did 5 runs? Or you completed one run? Like what's your stipulation for it?
I did the main thing.
Okay, the credits rolled or whatever.
Yeah, I got credits.
Okay.
Got credits.
So are you applying that to Animal Crossing? Credits on Animal Crossing?
Got credits. I also just got credits in Animal Crossing.
Okay.
But I'm also considering.
What about multiplayer games?
There are 2 multiplayer games. That's like, yeah, I played this year for the first time, and we played them quite a bit. So I'm counting those as well.
Okay, see, I counted pretty much every multiplayer game I put at least more than 2 hours into. So, okay, you can go ahead and say your number because I have to finish counting.
I thought I walked before I counted this up. I was like, I think I played like. I was worried about this because I was like, man, I don't think I played 10 games that I really loved this year. I think I played like 13 maybe overall, and I was like, yeah, I really liked like 5 of them. But then I looked at my list and it's like, okay, no, I played 47 games for the first time this year.
Yeah,
credits. Jesus Christ.
Damn, dude.
And that technically isn't everything because there are a couple games that I replayed fully this year.
Right. See, yeah, I revisited Resident Evil this year, and I've played those games before.
So I'm definitely over 50. I'm in the 50 something.
I can't say mine's that high because I have a really bad problem of not finishing games. Which is why
I thought I did too.
Yeah.
Like, half of this podcast has been me complaining about, like, man, I think I'm a completionist, but I really suck at it. And I'm like, I look at this list, and it's like, man, in most every of this game, I got, like, basically completed.
Yeah.
Like, I did everything except for, like, the one thing that I'm like, this isn't worth my time.
Right.
Like, it's like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
I did a lot better than I thought I did.
That's good because, man, like, I'm looking, it's pretty easy because I can just look at my game shelf and think. Whereas, like, otherwise, before I'd probably have to, like, look at my Xbox library. But it's like, so I think, to be honest, I could probably count the games that I finished with my two hands, right? With all the fingers. Because I definitely start, like, I only finished, well, technically I finished two. I started and bought a good chunk of Final Fantasy games, right? Like 12 and 15 and 8 and 9.
You finished 7,
I
right?
finished 7 Remake, and I'm close with 10, but I'm not done. And that's it. But it's like I still bought and played like a good chunk of 12, and I haven't touched 15. And 9 I haven't touched, but 8 I made about halfway through and gave up because it sucks. Yeah, and whereas like Watch Dogs Legion I bought and haven't touched. But then I revisited things like Resident Evil 2. I played through that like 5 times. I fucking love that game. Like literally, I just bought it on PS4. Yeah, I just bought it on PS4, and because I played it on PC before, because I wanted the physical blah blah blah. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play through Claire A and Leon B. I did it in like an hour. I was like, oh no. Obviously, the big one for me this year was Persona 5. I think because I guess last year I finally rolled credits on that game, and with the hype building.
You guys both rolled credits in like March, right?
Yeah,
February.
Yeah, he finished before me, and then I finished later that weekend because I had work in the morning, and he stayed up with me because I was in the very end of Memento's Depths at like 9 p.m. and I was just rescuing everybody from the jail cells, and I was like, okay. If I don't roll credits tonight, oh man. So I stayed up till like 1 a.m, and the credits finally rolled. And I have probably never felt more accomplished. Like, it's this long ass game. It took me pretty much a year and a half to beat. Not really, like a year and a month. On 2 different platforms, because I first played the PS3 version and then moved over to the PS4 version. Thank God for cloud saves. Yeah. Like, there were like 3 good chunks of time where I sat down and binged the game, palace to palace, palace to palace.
Hell yeah!
And then I finally finished it, and it was just like I cried when the credits were rolling. Like, I never do that with games. Like, even The Last of Us 2, I didn't cry on the credits, even though I fucking love that game. And it's like, that's how I know it was really good and like touched me, and it was its own thing, because the hype cycle for the Phantom Strikers, or whatever the US name is called, that's stupid. Like, I am just, all the memories are coming back to me. I'm like, oh my god, dude, I can't wait to like hang out with Yusuke again.
That's like one of the 3 games this year that I'm excited for. I did not watch. You posted the like first 8 hours, and I'm like, I ain't watching this.
Oh no, it's mostly just some.
I saw the base hard clip, and I'm like,
yes,
hell yeah, I'm already pre-ordered. I'm waiting till February, and I'm locking down.
Yeah, I bought it at Best Buy.
Game? Hell yeah!
Because I posted about that Steelbook thing, right, or whatever. But so I bought it at Best Buy so I could get that, and I am really just ready. I wanted to ask you though, and I'm sorry to derail, but it's an upcoming 2021 game, which is, I know, something we wanted to talk about. So,
do you just want to cover that quick now?
Sure. Let's talk about what is the actual North American title called?
I believe it's Persona 5S: The Phantom Strikers. That is what it's called.
Okay, I think it's just called Persona 5 Strikers.
Is it? I'll just go to the,
because I remember I keep calling it Phantom Strikers, and people are correcting me.
Wow, it is.
Because in Japan it's called the Phantom Strikers, which I think is
Japan. It's Persona 5S, the Phantom Strikers. Like, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a decent.
Okay. So the main question I wanted to ask you, because I know the answer, and I don't know if you know it.
What?
So take the Mass Effect series, for example, or the Witcher series, where when you play the first game, you can transfer your save data to the next one, and it'll carry all the way through. So like Witcher 3, what you did in Witcher 2 will affect parts of the story in Witcher 3.
Do you think that's going to happen with Persona 5S?
Yes. I don't think it is, because I know it isn't.
No way.
And that kind of bothers me in a way, because
That's
it's like...
okay. I mean, there's a canon ending.
I get why they can't do it. I get it. But it bothers me that, like...
Are you saying that you're like, man, I want to be...
It's like my romance won't carry over,
romance.
my S ranks won't carry over. It's like all these things that the game, they're like just the developers and the storytellers of Strikers just have to decide that this is where Yusuke and Joker are at in their relationship at the beginning of this game. This is where Ann and Joker are with their relationship at the beginning of this game. But it's like, did the entire, because you know, like a big part of Persona 5 is like Ann's character arc of I'm a strong independent person and I'm not self-conscious anymore. It's like, is she that in the Strikers or is she not that? I don't know.
It's going to be hard to tell. Like, to be frank, Persona spin-offs and sequels can be pretty hit or miss with that.
Okay. Has there, correct me if I'm wrong, but has there ever been a sequel to a Persona game like this? Because I know Persona 2 had 2 games. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is like a direct sequel, isn't it?
Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
Okay.
Is a direct sequel, and so is Persona 4 Arena.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know the Arena games are...
Persona 4 Arena follows up with the characters of both 3 and 4, while 4 just has that. And depending on which game it is, it can be like, oh, you know, the characters can feel more close to who they are in the main games or not.
Right.
Or they can just be kind of like caricatures. One good thing is that Persona Q2 was actually really good with like the characterization and stuff. Like Persona Q1 was like Chie likes meat. And that is
and karate. Meat and karate.
And Akihiko wants to work out, and that is his character.
Oh no.
Yeah. But Q2 was better with it, so it's like, okay. And I remember even in the dancing games, it's like, okay. Like, you know, it's obviously just fluff. It's just filler, like, oh, the characters are interacting as pals, but it's like, you know what? Yeah. I could see them doing it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, it's just something that I thought about that I was like, they can't. Like, there's no way that there's going to be a box you check where it's like, I romanced Makoto. I got to B rank with fucking...
I feel like that'd be weird.
I know.
I feel like that'd be really tough.
What's the fucking kid's name? The guy, the hacker guy that you're friends with?
Smoked?
No, the other guy. The kid.
Mishima,
yeah. It's like, I didn't talk to him at all. I hate him.
Better not show up.
Yeah, and then that was the other question. So, I watched a cutscene like from the first like 20 minutes of the game. I won't say anything, but like Ryuji's talking about how they need a new shop because Takemi is busy during the summer, and gun shop guy is like gone, like he disappeared, and so it's like, oh, like all those characters are gone. Yeah. Oh, all right.
I expect it's going to be completely new. You know, I think it's going to be the core cast, and then Sojiro will pop up at the beginning, and probably Sai will pop up every once in a while. Assuming things go down.
Because I don't know how much about the plot you know, because obviously the game's been out in Japan, so I know a little bit.
I know that it starts. It's like a thing where like, oh, what, the metaverse is back?
Yeah.
And then there's like these jails where
it
seems they're going with a more like kind of like, oh, someone's controlling others thing. And it's like, we're gonna go through the country, and I assume in like we're just gonna take these down. I don't know why or how they get to that conclusion. And then there's a phone. That's a girl or something.
Yeah.
Because that was the demo. Like that was the demo all the way back when.
Yeah,
so
the Japanese only demo.
I know what we could interpret from the demo and like the very premise of like,
because I played through the demo on Switch.
People are in prison.
Obviously I didn't know what was going on because it's all in Japanese, but I checked the wiki a little bit and I googled things, but I don't know like how it ends or anything like that. But I don't know.
I feel like there are things I can assume,
I'm excited
will probably
because
happen to some degree, and I'm like, huh, okay, I'm wondering how they're gonna pull this off.
right, and like I don't
They
know.
pulled a few things off really well in Royal. Like I think
Hmm.
Royal, the third semester is one
Right.
of, if not the best part of the game.
Okay, the non-canon third
Super good.
semester.
Yeah,
The non-canon
unfortunately.
conversations with Maruki about donuts in his classroom.
It's like, they pulled off a couple things I was very worried about really well. So I'm like, I wonder how this is going to do it, assuming they do it, which from one of the trailers we've seen, it's like, okay, it has to be this, right?
Yeah, and so
like,
I'm
there's
trying
a
to be
person
careful.
in a robot suit with a laser sword, and the color scheme is white.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I'm trying really hard to go into this with good expectations, because Age of Calamity, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care for personally, and I don't know if that's because of the gameplay or the story or whatever. But like, I was really excited for that game, and I know you told me like not to be because I shouldn't have been. But like with this game, I'm not sure, because everything I've heard about it and seen is that people are saying, yeah, it's not really a Muso game. It's honestly kind of just its own thing, which excites me because that's kind of what turned me off of Age of Calamity.
Dude, Age of Calamity.
Plus, I feel like this story I'm going to be a little more invested in personally than I am with Age of Calamity time travel bullshit. But like this, I don't know, man. I'm really. It's just like
perspective is this is like an encore tour.
Yeah,
know?
Like I'm just excited to see everyone again.
Yeah, that's why. That's like what I'm excited about. It's totally the thing where it's like, hell yeah, I could care less if it's like, oh, super deep rooted and all that. But it's like, hey, if I'm just chilling with the boys again, it's like, you know what, I'll take it.
And I don't know. Part of the reason I asked too about the like, just if you think things are going to carry over, is if like I have no idea if romancing is back. I have no idea if like social links are back.
Any of like social links and stuff.
Yeah, because that's obviously a huge part of like normal Persona, and from what I've understood, the game doesn't really follow the like linear day by day structure that the other games do, because
it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah,
I'm very interested in the gameplay.
It seems like you have a good amount of time to do the jail, like the dungeon, whatever. You're not like, oh god, there's a deadline, you know.
From what I understand, and even in the demo and the gameplay I've seen, it's like it's more adventure gamey. Where it's like, oh yeah, you're exploring and finding your way in,
then dude,
without like a time limit.
The music.
Stuff. So I wonder, like, how's the yo?
I'm so excited.
Okay, yeah, that's the game I'm excited for in 2021.
Yeah,
I looked ahead and I looked it up, just like, oh, what games was I excited for? I think right now, before we get into, do you kind of have how many games?
So
would you like consider your like top of 2020 that you played this year?
Okay.
Like,
so 2020 brand new release or just any game?
Any.
Okay.
Any.
Like. Okay.
Like, don't push your
2 easily.
No, I mean, don't like say them yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, like, what's the number of like games you want to talk about?
Okay.
Just 5.
2.
Easy, simple.
I'm gonna say 6. Because I already talked about God of War, so make it 6.
Make that one of them. Okay, so
I can make 3 of them quick though.
We'll do that last. We'll do it last.
Actually,
I was just
okay. I'll mark them.
Yeah, I already have mine marked.
Okay, cool.
But I was just saying right now, I think we should quickly cover before we do that, and then I guess call it. But it's gonna take a while knowing us. So what games are you excited for that are coming out 2021? And then what like games do you plan on playing? Like, you know, do you have any, like, things you want to tackle? Because I have something I want to tackle.
Yeah, I have one too.
Okay.
It's hiding on my shelf. Okay.
Anyway,
do you want to go
games
first?
2021, Persona 5 Strikers,
or do you want to kind of go through what's coming out or coming up? But I don't know. Okay.
I think we can just mention what we're interested in, because frankly, for me, it's like, okay, I think I have 3, and like,
yeah,
one of them is a game that's been delayed like 7 times. So,
okay. I don't. Wait, I'm trying to think what that would be. But okay. So, are you looking forward to Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury? Because I've not heard your thoughts on Bowser's Fury and all that at all.
I don't know. It looks like an expansion.
Okay. Because I don't know.
It's like I'm not paying $60 for the game again.
Yeah,
no.
it's like I want to know. I'll drop money on it when I know what Bowser's Fury is, how much content there really is there. Because it's like
it's gonna be like a few hours at most.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know if I want to play through 3D World again. Like, especially I feel bad for the people that played through 3D World. Was it 4 or 5 times to 100%?
5 times.
I feel bad for those people. And I only played through it once, and I didn't even do the Champion Road bullshit. So yeah, oh man.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know, but that's one that's kind of on my radar, and I don't know. I just want to know what Bowser's Fury is all about, because that trailer was just Mario Odyssey DLC. So.
Cool. It's like I'm excited for Cyber Shadow. That's next week.
Yeah, the Yacht Games game.
Yeah, Yacht Club.
Yacht Club. I'm excited.
Yacht Club is publishing it, so I'm hyped for that.
Oh, who's developing it?
I don't know who's developing it. I know Yacht Club has a hand in it.
Oh, I thought they were developing it, so that's interesting.
I don't know if they're developing it. It might be a different team, but I know at least they're publishing it.
Hopefully it turns out better than another game with cyber in its name. if you catch my drift.
Wow, I really cannot tell what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay, I'll just say one of mine. So
in March, I'm looking at Shadow quick.
Okay, in March, the release, hopefully, of Returnal, the PS5. I think it's also on PC, but PS5 console exclusive. I think it's actually entirely exclusive, but it's a roguelike third-person shooter action game. And
that one?
Yeah, it's with the old ass lady.
With the lady?
Yeah. So the gameplay trailer.
The one that I got baited into thinking it was
PT. Yep. So the gameplay trailer released a couple days ago, and I was kind of like, it's so weird because this is like my dream. I like games like this where it's an exclusive. They come around, they look solid, and it's a game that people are going to look back on the game library of the PS5 and say, hey, that was a game that was good, and it was, like, I love shit like that. Like MotorStorm for the PS3. No one fucking cares about that game anymore, but it's like you can look back and say, hey, there was a nice little exclusive game. And that's just, I don't know. I'm getting this like bite-sized thing I can only get on PS5, and I'm excited. Graphically, it doesn't look like a PS5 game, so I'm wondering if it just kind of shifted development at one point or something, but I don't know. I'm excited for that. It comes out in March. I really am gonna have to get used to spending $70 though, because oh god,
I'm not happy with $70. Like genuinely, I was thinking ahead to like getting PS5. Now it's like, okay, I'm definitely waiting for a while.
Demon's Souls. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna hate this game and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna waste my money. And it's like, oh no. Why am I doing this? And then I bought it and I was like, oh god, and then it showed up and then I played it and I was like, oh god, I wasted my money. Which obviously that's exaggerating and hyperbole. But it's like there are just going to be games where I know buying this is a mistake. But oh man, I don't know. I do agree though, 70 is a lot. Like
and it's not really even warranted because frankly, for the studios and publishers who have been pushing for raising the price, they've already been selling games at like 80
Deluxe
to 90
digital edition like every year for the past 3 years except for this year.
Transactions, it's like, okay,
I'm trying to think.
Now they're doing their sly way of making games pricier, but now they finally felt that it was justified, which it wasn't to.
For 5 years in a row, I was a fool, and I paid $100 every time a COD came out because I needed the season pass so I could play the zombies, so I could get all the multiplayer maps, so I could get all the free loot box crap that you get every month. I was like, I did it every time. Black Ops, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, fucking, I didn't buy Infinite Warfare, so I'm safe there. Fucking World War II, and then Black Ops 4, and that's it. It just, I kept doing it every year, and I was like, why did I do that? At least I got all the maps though for zombies,
Okay, I'm looking at things. Somewhere.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. To kind of wrap a bow around it. It's the game. I don't think it's going to be amazing, but it's definitely going to be like a game you look back on the game library and be like, yo, that was a cool game, and people are going to talk about it 20 years from now the same way we talk about Nightcaster for the original Xbox.
Mm-hmm. But I just looked up Cyber Shadow. It's a collaboration between Mechanical Head Studios and Yacht Club.
Okay, Mechanical Head, are they...
So Yacht Club's in it, but also another studio.
So,
but
I don't recognize Mechanical Club.
I think this is a debut.
Oh, it's a Game Awards indie debut. Gotcha.
Yacht Club's in it, so they're probably screwed out of that.
Well, I mean, there was a Devolver published game that got best debut game because it wasn't Devolver published or developed.
It sounds like it isn't just publishing; it's also like Yacht Club partially worked on the game as well.
Okay, well,
but
good luck to them.
I guess I'm gonna cover. I'm excited for Guilty Gear Strive. In April. I hope the netcode is good. Please.
I know, like, there seems to be a lot of hype behind this game for people.
It's mixed. Because it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay. It seems like at this point, if the netcode is bad, then this is practically just a net loss for the series.
Oh.
Because it seems like it's a downgrade in like complexity and depth.
Oh.
But like the trade-off is like, okay, but if we can get that rollback netcode, then you know what? I'll do it.
I'll do it to support that.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, if it's bad, then it's like, well, that sucks. So I'm cautiously hopeful for that. I mean, I'm also
that's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, PC, Switch.
Steam, yeah, not Switch. Hell no. But I'm interested in Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, I'm careful. But...
Monster Hunter's the series where it's like every time, like, this is the one I get into.
Me too.
And then I get it, and then I don't.
Me too. I did that with 4, and I did that with World. So,
dude, I did with Generations and with World.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So I plan on it.
They're not bad, but I don't know. I had my friend who was like already the max level in 4, and I was like, what? And so we did like the first monster hunt you do, and I was really lost. And he didn't tell me what to do, and so I was like, okay, thanks. Yeah. Technically, though, oh my god, why was that a 3DS game? What's that all about? But anyways.
But
Rise looks cool. I think it's kind of in a weird scenario because like World is just huge. It's like a Destiny like live service game for people.
I mean,
and so I'm curious how many like Monster Hunter fans are gonna jump onto this.
From what I've heard about both people's reactions to World and to this is very much not trying to be World, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Very much for a lot of like the core Monster Hunter crowd, World was in a lot of ways kind of disappointing, you know?
That's what I've heard too. Like World appealed to a wider audience.
No, yeah. And I mean both are valid, you know?
Yeah.
Both crowds are valid. So Rise seems like it's definitely going to be appealing more to the...
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think Monster Hunter World is like one of Capcom's like most successful games.
I think it is the best-selling game.
Even more than fucking Street Fighter V, which is wow.
No, wasn't it Resident Evil 6?
Yeah, so it was Resident Evil 5 for a while, and then 6 came out, and then I think it was 6 for like ever, and then not even 7 topped 6, which tells you a lot. And then I believe Monster Hunter World. I could be wrong. I think
Monster Hunter World is the highest selling.
Okay. Where's Resident Evil 2 Remake, by the way, on that list?
Probably pretty
not.
Far down.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's below, like, most other Monster Hunters, Street Fighters, and Resident Evils. Yeah.
Damn it, I bought the game twice, and then I'll buy it again if I have to. That is genuinely like one of my favorite games of the most recent years, but whatever, I've talked about it enough.
Yeah, Monster Hunter World is over 16 million.
Holy crap. Okay. I wonder if that counts like just base sales, because I know you can buy like Iceborne and it
Iceborne
has
is
World in it.
This.
Oh, okay. So then where's Iceborne then?
It's much further down.
Okay, but still
Iceborne is like 6 million.
Wow. Dang, man. Like, Capcom, like, they do a lot of dumb-ass shit. But, like, I'm happy when they do well and it's successful for them. Because It's so satisfying. Like, I don't really care about Monster
when
Hunter.
they make good games and
Yeah.
they're good.
Like, the past few years for them has been like, hell yeah, like, you go, Capcom, you make fucking Devil May Cry 5 and make, like, literally everyone on Twitter and everyone on the planet love it. You do that. I don't, awesome. So, I don't know. Capcom, I may not care about Monster Hunter, but I also heard that apparently, I don't know if I think this turned out to be fake, but Monster Hunter Rise, like, had a ghost Steam listing that went up by accident.
I think people are. I would assume eventually it would come to Steam at some point.
Because the demo came out and I haven't played it, but I have it downloaded.
I played it. It ran pretty well, actually.
I've like, technically speaking, from what I've
played
seen,
much better than that first trailer where I was like,
right, yeah.
Cry.
I was worried when I saw that. I was like, uh-oh. But from what I've seen of people stream the demo and, videos, it actually seems pretty legit for people that are really excited. So,
So
when does that come out? That comes out on March 31st, doesn't it?
Yeah, March. I'm not getting it at launch, most likely.
That's Nintendo's doomsday right there. That's when everyone thinks that the Switch Pro is going to be announced. You have no idea. Like, so I'm in the Papagino's speculation community, right? And their Discord is like a countdown to March 31st. It is the funniest thing. Everyone's like, on March 31st, they're going to announce the Switch Pro, and it's like, nope, don't people stop.
Why?
That's what they think, because that's when 3D All Stars is going bye. That's when Mario 35 is going bye. That's when.
So that's when you. So the day.
It's also when the new Amiibo are coming out, and it's also the day that the Fire Emblem game is going away. So, and I think it's the same day that Monster Hunter Rise is coming out, or very close to that. So.
Wait, what do you mean? Fire Emblem games going away?
The NES translation is
that also.
Yep.
Time.
Yep.
What the hell?
It's
I
dumb.
didn't know about that. I thought that's garbage.
It is garbage.
Oh
Screw you,
Great.
Nintendo.
I gotta pick that up.
I also think we don't know any official release dates for Nintendo, like first-party Nintendo games, beyond March 31st, I think. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
We don't know anything Nintendo's doing this year.
So I think that's another reason why people are like, ooh.
Everything that Nintendo is currently producing is in that state of like, if we say years for our release date, but we don't really know anything about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime,
Bayonetta, but Bayonetta's third party, but yeah.
Bayonetta, okay. But the one that's been delayed, like hell and back, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Is this the year we finally get Psychonauts 2?
Oh, no. I'm going to say no. Because that game has disappointed me every time it shows up at E3, so I'm just going to say no.
I know. It's like, I could swore last time. Whatever. But
I mean, we got a pretty substantial trailer last time, but
dude, and it looks so good.
It does.
Oh my god!
It has Jack Black singing in it. Hell yeah,
dude. That's what I'm very. I hope it comes out. We'll have to see.
Because Psychonauts 1 is pretty legit.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Unfortunately, I have the PS2 version, which runs like poo-poo, so...
Dude, the PS4 version somehow runs like garbage.
Because it's the PS2 version.
Yeah, I got it on Steam, and now it's like, it runs.
Yeah. I want to pick it up on Xbox, but it's like $100, but on PS2, it's like, I can get it for $30, so...
Other than that, I literally just looked up 2021 video games.
There's a lot that don't have release dates. Especially like after March. Yeah.
But it's like, since there aren't anything else that I'm like excited for and I know the date for, might as well shout them out. Axiom Verge 2.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Finally, we're getting Metroid
that was
7.
a while back.
Oh.
I think in Indie Direct, that was like this September, like this year, that was like the closing title. That was like the big one.
I had no idea. Okay. I'd never finished Axiom Verge, but I quite like that game.
I haven't either, but I need to play it more. Near Replicant.
Yeah.
Version, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, that's
Wait,
good.
that doesn't have a release date? It's like spring 2021 or something.
I don't think it. Let me look it up. But
I think it's like spring or quarter 2.
Let me see. I'm looking it up.
Excuse me. It says April 20th.
It has a date. It's April 23rd, really?
Yeah.
Well, we have a game that has a straight up date that I'm excited for.
Damn, I
so
knew something. Woo.
That's good.
I will not be picking that up on day one.
I might.
I will
Depends on
play
if
it
I-
maybe because I want to like. That's a series that I really want to like because it's like held in this very high regard, and I'm self-conscious. But I'll play it.
Yeah.
Obviously-
SMT5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited about both of those. I'm excited about the SMT3 remake.
I've heard the Nocturne
Remaster.
remake sucks though.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
At
Oh,
least
yeah,
in
because it came out in Japan.
Like the audio is terrible.
they kept the PS2 like .ogg files apparently.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, if that's what's happening, I might as well just get the original on PS2 for like $20 on Amazon.
Yeah,
because it's very cheap.
It does go for
Amazon.
cheap. Yeah, it's also on the PS3 PSN store still.
So it's like, might as well get it there, and then I have like the novelty of having it.
Yeah,
instead of just playing a game that looks good and sounds bad.
I mean, to be fair,
through a CRT speaker.
To be fair, a lot of Switch games have audio compression issues. Like Dark Souls Remastered sounds like
that isn't just
garbage.
Switch, though. That's on PS4 and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay,
that's just an issue with the remaster in general.
I'll eat my words.
Yeah. Other than that, the one that's listed here otherwise is No More Heroes 3. So we'll see.
And that is...
So this year, I will be interested.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you picked up No More Heroes on the Switch. Had you played it before?
Yeah. I had not played it before.
Oh, okay.
So when it came out and it was like, hey, wait, this is a way to play it in HD, that's good. It's like, oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm getting it.
I just remember growing up and seeing Travis in the Nintendo Power like every month. I was like, who's this guy? Why does he have a giant lightsaber? And I was really confused because it was also being advertised around the time that that motion control was it
Mad
Final
World?
Fantasy? No, it was the motion control Soul Calibur game for the Wii. And I thought it was the same game.
Oh god.
That's that's aging me there.
Dude, Nintendo Power was the stuff.
Dude, I miss it so much. I still have all my old ones just hiding away from sunlight. So
let me quickly look on my Steam wish list.
Yeah. So okay, for me, the big
say something.
Yeah. So the big one for me, besides Persona, I'm just gonna say it. Like I know that Halo has its quote unquote expected release date. Oh man, I don't know. That's not the game I was going to talk about. But so later this month we have the Capcom Resident Evil Direct thing, and I just played Resident Evil 7. I had never played through the whole thing before. I'd played the demo, which is a piece of crap, and then I played the full game for like an hour, and I was like, it's just different. It's different than the demo. What the heck?
Yeah.
But 7 I quite liked a little bit. Falls off near the end, but and I was like, you know what? The potential of this can be it's like the next game, again, it's the same thing I say every time. The next game, if it does what Halo 2 did, Resident Evil 4, blah, 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 if it improves on all the things, it'll be great. So I'm excited about Resident Evil 8, like really genuinely am, because I just am. But I have a feeling it's either A, going to get delayed during the direct announcement thing.
They're just gonna drop 2022.
Or it'll get a summer. No. I don't think it's coming out in the spring. I'd be very, very suspicious if it did. Because Resident Evil.
Last time Resident Evil did that.
Well, Resident Evil comes out in. Usually it comes out in January, spring, or November. So I doubt it will come out in spring because Capcom yearly releases. We know how that goes, but yeah, I'm excited for it because from what I understand, the development team is the same development team as 7, and the development team of RE2 Remake was the same as the development team for Monster Hunter, not Monster Hunter World. What's it called? Whatever. But it's like a different dev team, so it's not like the same people that worked on the last 2 Resident Evil games. So I'm excited about
Resident
that.
Evil 3 was a outsourced game.
Yes, it was, which is why it's probably
it's bad.
Maybe. But yeah, the
gameplay sense not aesthetic and production value sense.
I don't know. I replayed it for like the 5th time, and I still really I liked it. I think I've liked it better each time I've played it. But
really?
That's just me. I've played it quite a few
That's
times.
up to you. You know, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong.
Try and go
Like,
for S rank in that game. You're gonna like have to like shower after. Anyways, yeah, I'm really excited about Resident Evil 8 because it's finally doing what I really wish 7 did while I was playing it, which sounds weird, I know, but 7 is essentially like a side story that just so happens to be tied into the main events of Resident Evil, and this game 8 is continuing the story from 7 with those characters, but also tying in, you know, our old classic legacy characters, which has me really excited because that's a very proven formula these days, you know, with like your Force Awakens, your Gears of War 4, blah, 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 your Terminator, Dark Fates. I like that kind of formula done well. So I'm excited because there's a lot of like interesting hints at Umbrella maybe coming back or like remnants of Umbrella. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope Chris doesn't die. He's probably going to die. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Okay.
It's also weird because a lot of the press around the game is like failing to mention that it's a multiplat, but it's like I feel like everyone that talks about it is like, oh yeah, PS5, I can't wait, because Resident Evil is generally associated with PlayStation, but no,
Yeah.
it's a multiplat, and hopefully it doesn't have some weird ass multiplayer attached to it. And bring back Mercenaries, please. Okay, that's enough. Also, I hate the name still, but whatever.
Is there a new name?
No, it's Resident Evil Village. That's it. It's not Resident Evil 8 Village, not Resident Evil Village 8. It's Resident Evil Village.
Look, okay, we can at least agree that Resident Evil Village 8 would be much worse than
I
even
agree.
Resident Evil.
But the last game in the series, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, is the worst name ever. And you want to know why?
Well, yeah, I know, because the Japanese name for Resident Evil is Biohazard. Yeah,
The Japanese name for Resident Evil 7 is Biohazard 7 Resident Evil. I am not joking. It is literally
Honestly,
the exact opposite. I like it too,
that.
but it's a weird-ass name.
It's
I
weird.
also hate the gimmick with the number, the Roman numeral, but that's anything. Anyways, at least they can still count, so that's good. Halo forgot how to count. They were like, Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, 4, 5 Guardians, Infinite, so whatever. Okay. Oh, man.
I just looked, and it was like, hey, who knows? Time to be that really
Shenmue
annoying.
4 is coming out this year.
Oh, God.
Can't wait.
Oh, God. Is it?
No, next year is when
Okay,
it's
I was
projected.
about to be like, did they seriously somehow get funding for a 4th game after how bad that was?
Supposedly, like, the money left over and the profit is going into the 4th game, so.
Oh my God. But it's like, hey, we finally got some news. Give us that Hollow Knight.
Oh, dude, okay, can you tell me what is up with Silk Song?
I believe, I didn't look much into the news, but I believe the last update did say, like, they had the game, like, majorly done. They're just in, like, the polishing, like,
okay.
bug fixing and stuff phase. Like, the major game itself is, like, pretty done. So
because
like, hey,
a lot of, like, the leaks and speculation community was kind of saying, like, at this point, Silk Song is like, it's its own game, right? Like, I've heard that, where it's like,
yeah, it totally is.
Silk Song isn't like an expansion at this point, it's like its own game, so I'm wondering if that'll be true.
That isn't even like a leak thing. That was like confirmed by the devs. Because originally for the Kickstarter, the DLC was going to be like, oh, it's DLC where you play as Hornet. But eventually they did that thing where it's just like, okay.
Right.
We kind of made it its new game. It's a new game at this point. So we're just going to put more time into it.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll see. Other than that, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Looking forward to that. So.
Hell yeah. So there's like 4 more, and all of them are from. Okay, 3 of them are from the PlayStation June presentation, the PS5 presentation. Kena, the Bridge of Spirits, is my most anticipated from that still, besides Resident Evil Village. That's the like Breath of the Wild looking ass game.
Yeah.
Then Deathloop from Arcane Studios. I fucking love their games, like all of their games. They're great. And honestly, Horizon Forbidden West. Again, it's my stupid thing where, it's going to be better than the first game. It's going to fix all the problems. But that game is still on my radar. It's definitely going to be one I'll buy. And then the last one is, to be honest, Far Cry 6. I honestly don't think it's going to come out this year, but Far Cry 6 is the other one. I'm excited for that game for a few reasons, because so I have not played 4 and 5 at all. Because from what I've heard, they're just what 3 was, but the same. And the head director of 3 also did 4 and 5, but they got a new guy for 6, which I know is not saying a lot, but Ubisoft has a tendency every 3 games in a series, technically 5 or 4 because Primal came out, but every 3 games in a series they flip. So like the first 3 Assassin's Creeds, you had Assassin's Creed 2, and then Brotherhood, were like their own kind of like contained sort of thing that were, I don't know, they were very similar in their direction. And then you had Revelations 3, and then Rogue. Or not Rogue, the fucking other one. Not 4, but anyways, where it was like, oh, that was kind of weird. And then they went back on track with 4, Rogue, and then kind of lost track with... Anyways, it's a thing. I guarantee you it's a thing with Ubisoft games. It happened with Far Cry, it happened with Tom Clancy, and I feel like it's going to happen with Far Cry. I messed up, but I don't know. Plus, I'm biased because one of my favorite actors ever is the villain, so I gotta say... For me being the biggest Troy Baker simp, I never played Far Cry 4. So, there you go. Just saying. Just saying. Because I've played just about every other thing he's in. So, there you go.
Okay, Scott. Now I'm going to ask. You said you had something planned up that you were going to try to tackle this year.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, I didn't mention that? But yeah. So,
before we get
go ahead.
to our personal like top 6 of this year, what were you planning on tackling?
So, well, I already have. So last year it was Final Fantasy, and that kind of sputtered out because I realized how long and awesome those games are, and I want to experience them in not a bite-sized format. So I'll get back to those. But this year, or at least for now, I'm really interested in Devil May Cry because Capcom, I like them. I don't like... It's weird. I don't like Mega Man, like, at all. Or, what's the other one? Monster Hunter. But I like... Yeah. I like Resident Evil a lot. So, yeah. But since, obviously, Devil May Cry was originally the original version and development of Resident Evil 4, a lot of the design elements carried over to that. And obviously, the games get praised a bunch. So I've been playing the first Devil May Cry a little bit. So... I've ordered every single one in the series except for DMC.
Jesus.
So I'll probably try and play. I hate to say it, but I'll probably like DMC the most. But anyways,
no.
I'll get to those eventually.
DMC is the most contemporary of them.
Yeah,
like it's the most similar to like other action games that you've played. You know?
Yeah, which is why I'll probably like it.
Like Devil May Cry is a weird like control system which allows for a lot more like depth and skill to be in it, but DMC is very much like you have the light attack and you have the heavy attack. Press the light attack and you can do
that's what I like finisher. In my games, baby. Ooh.
And I enjoy it too.
Oof.
I enjoy it too. I think it's a fun combat system. It's much better than like when combat systems are just like we're gonna do what Arkham did and it's like
which is what I'm surprised that game didn't do because it came out at the peak of the Arkham like hype. So props. Props.
I mean, it's by Team Ninja. No.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The people who did the Ninja Gaiden games, right?
Yeah, it's Team Ninja.
Yeah. Okay. So they definitely have a grasp.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Scott.
Bombshell time.
I am going to be playing. And I've already started. I'm playing through Halo.
Oh! No, I didn't know this. No way. On Steam?
I thought you would have known. Yeah, on Steam.
Wait.
I've had 2 missions already.
No way. Hang on. Friends?
Yeah.
Gerborius?
Yeah.
Hades? Ori and the Will of the Spelunky?
It's been a hot minute, but like...
Oh, we all played recently. Enter the Gungeon, Curse of the Blood. Bloodstained's really good, by the way. There it is. Halo Master Chief Collection
I've done the first 2 missions
of Halo CE. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
So
I'm
it's like, okay,
excited for you. Like,
I'm doing it.
obviously, that's like one of my holy grails, series wise. So I'm really excited. I'm
glad you're doing Devil May Cry, because like if I just walked in and I was like, I'm doing something you like.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, because Devil May Cry is actually going to challenge me as a gamer, because it's fundamentally I would probably never have played them if I had the choice, and I do. I'm not saying I don't, but well, you know what's funny, by the way, Devil May Cry and Halo CE came out the same month. No, not same month, same year, like very close within each other, which is really, really interesting to me. That's cool.
They both have 4 games that you should play. Well, 5 games that we're gonna
It's funny
play.
because
Well,
you're playing like. Okay, I gotta ask, are you playing on the remastered graphics?
I'm doing the old graphics.
It's funny because
I deliberately asked you.
yeah. I think we talked about that. But it's funny because I'm playing on original hardware, and you're playing the terrible Gearbox port that's been mutilated. But anyways,
whatever.
I'm happy for you. I had no idea. That's such a fun surprise. Oh
yeah.
That's so awesome.
Planning on doing the Bungie games.
Those games are also not very long, so they're
they're typical shooter campaigns, right?
Yeah,
so,
some of my favorite memories of Halo is I took a trip to my grandparents' house like 7 or 8 years ago at this point, and oh god, no, not even. That was like 10 years ago. It was when Halo Reach was brand new. Oh my god, that was 10 years ago, almost. But Halo Reach had like just come out, and I was really disgruntled that I had to go to this fucking. It was Thanksgiving. I had to go to Thanksgiving. I was like, ugh. But Reach had just came out, and I brought my best friend with me at the time, and I was like, oh my god, we're gonna play Halo Reach, and we stayed up so late. We got stuck on a very specific mission that to this day. I'm like, why did we get stuck? But it's because we were sleep deprived, and it was just like the best. And we got like all the achievements, man, so good. Okay, I'm so happy for you.
Okay, so I guess then top 6 you said.
Yeah, I'll bullet point 3 of them real quick. So
you have like 3 that you're like the real ones, and then
yeah. So I won't mention Persona 5 and The Last of Us 2 because Lord knows I've talked about them enough. But the 3 I want to bullet point real quick. Mortal Kombat 11. I played through the main campaign, really enjoyed it. And I played through Aftermath a couple weeks later, really enjoyed it. And it's a cool game. I really want to play it against a real human being, but I fucked up really bad. And now that I upgraded it to the PS5 version, if I play the PS4 version, none of my progress will go back. So I'm fucked, and I have to buy a $70 controller to play it with anybody, couch. So, whoops. But I really want to play that with someone that is competent, or at least willing to kind of learn, because I'm bored of fighting robots. And I'm too scared to go online. But I like that game. It's cool, and I recommend it if you've never played a Mortal Kombat game, because it's cool. Next, what was it? Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning came out last year, and it's basically all it is an up-res and up frame rate version of the original game, and it's. I know this gets thrown around a lot, but it's really underrated. Like, it's I don't know, if you like Skyrim, if you like The Witcher, it kind of takes those two, smashes them together, and it's really good. I played the original on 360 like forever ago. It's good, and it had its issues, but like, it's a shame that Re-Reckoning didn't fix a lot of the main problems. Like, I wish they went in and tuned up like the leveling system and some of the combat. They didn't. It's kind of a shame, but the game's still pretty good. I have honestly barely played it, like maybe 5 hours, but still quite like it. That's it. And then the other bullet point, Microsoft Flight Simulator was really fun to mess around with for an afternoon. I stopped because my computer hated the game. Because that's a really demanding game, and I was running it on like the lowest settings, but still I had a lot of fun flying around like my actual neighborhood, and it was really cool. And I wish I wish the game got more like support, because they kind of just put it out there and dropped it like a hot rock. I'm assuming when the Xbox port comes out, they'll kind of update it, but yeah. Those were the 3 bullet points.
I'll do 3 bullet points. Wait, 6. Wait, let me count. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He's got a lot for us, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm just trying to match the same number, so I'm trying to rethink this through. You can do your number 3 quickly.
Okay, so the other one I want to talk about is I already talked about Resident Evil 7, but I want to talk about not even joking, Madden 08. I guess I can bullet point this. So I had obviously never fucking cared about Madden in my life, and so after much digression, I went and picked up the 360 version because I was like, that's the one I want to play. So I played it. I didn't know what I was doing, but then I watched, I went on Google and I said Madden 08 tips and tricks, and I found like a 3-hour video of this guy speed running the campaign mode where you go and fight other teams and you win. And I was like, holy crap, that's cool. And yeah, it's decent. Yeah. It's a meme, but it's decent. It's actually good, apparently. And so yeah, so now I own it on 4 of the 6 platforms that's on, and I have no shame in it.
Okay, I'm gonna shotgun
Kablam.
4 bullet points.
Kablam.
I settled on 7.
Ooh.
And then I'll do my 3rd pick, and then you can do your 2nd. I'll do my 2nd. Okay.
Okay.
So the 4 shotguns. It's going to be, I played and I loved Banjo-Kazooie this year for the first time.
You played that on emulator.
No, I have freaking.
No, I'm talking about 3 or 2 or 3 years ago.
Years ago, I played Final Mountain.
So what'd you play it on? N64? Holy
yeah.
shit, dude! No way.
Hell yeah, so good.
You got me beat.
Persona 5 Royal. I'm bullet pointing it because
I need to play it.
I need to play it.
I'm on Palace 4. I just got to get over the 5 hump, and I'm good.
By the time we probably record again, or the time after, we'll have a new Persona game to talk about.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I also did Spelunky.
Spelunky 2? Or Spelunky 1?
Spelunky 1.
Oh.
I haven't... Really? I was like, I want to do Spelunky 1 before I do Spelunky 2. And okay. It's like, oh, well, I've only played Spelunky 1. So...
And I've heard it's really good.
Oh, it's so good. It's it's one of those things where I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this game.
It's perfect.
It's perfection.
And I'm assuming Hades is one of them.
We'll have to see. Who knows?
Okay. All right.
The other shotgun is I really enjoyed Crash 4. I really did.
I almost bought that for you, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I checked the PlayStation page and saw that it's friends who play. I was like, oh, okay.
I can, I can send you my backlog sometime.
Okay, that'd be good.
So you can see everything that I own. I need to go through. I still need to spend a literal day and just go through itch.
Oh, okay. Hey, GameCollecting.com is what I
think
use.
300 games to it.
Oh my god.
Wow. I'm fairly certain that if I added everything I have on itch, I would be over 1,000. If not close to it. Games,
damn.
Yeah.
Damn, I thought I was bad. Whoops.
Crash were real good. And then my number 3.
Oh, I know what okay, I think I know what your 3 are gonna be.
You know what my 3 are gonna be? I highly doubt it.
Hades, Xenoblade Chronicles.
One of them.
Oh god, what's the 3rd? Okay, think Gabe 2020. Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. That's my guess.
Okay. Those are guesses. I'm gonna let you know right now. Number 3 is Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay, I know you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude. It was my 3rd time trying to play through the full game this year. on an entirely different system for the third time.
Did you play? Wait, so the Wii and 3DS you both picked up?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I picked up the 3DS one because the Wii one was so rare.
Right.
I was like, I want to get into it. I want to do it.
The Wii one actually went down in price.
Eventually, I just found it for like $40 at GameStop for Wii. So I was like,
I
gotta do it.
I remember that. I remember I showed up to your place. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so like that was just like that wasn't like a planned thing. It was like a rare pick.
Yeah.
And then Definitive Edition came out, and I was like, okay, fine, screw it. I have time.
I am honestly Sorry, go ahead.
No, I got into it. It was really good.
That is a game that I'm waiting for, like doomsday for. Like the power is out, or like I'm on a trip and or like something, because I have it. Obviously, it's a Switch game and stuff, and I'm terrified of that game. I really want to play it, but I just know that it will either really turn me off or I will just adore it. So yeah,
it's really beefy. It's not for everyone, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're number 2, Scott. Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, I'll do it since you already started out. I'm gonna say Hades.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Your
that
game of the year.
Is so good. It's game from this year of the year. Yes, definitely.
And then Xenoblade is game of the year.
Maybe, who knows? There's still another third game.
Oh man, I'm trying to think what it is. Oh no.
But dude, even after beating it like multiple times, like I've had like over 10 successful runs and stuff. It's still like, oh man, wow, things are being added. Jesus.
Yeah, like I've heard that there's people that have like almost 100%ed it, and they've not heard us like pretty much any repeated dialogue.
Oh, totally. It's insane how like exact it feels at times. I forgot what it was, but there was one point where I think it had like a specific boon in a specific area on a specific like event, and there was a line for it, and I was like, wow.
Because I read an article, and the title was dumb, which is why I clicked on it, because that's how they get you. But it was like, Hades is the best Rockstar game that Rockstar never made. And I was like, what the fuck? But they're like, it basically has Rockstar level writing. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'll like this game then, huh?
It's so good, dude.
It's sitting on my Steam library, just staring at me and judging me.
It's crazy how like good. Because for a lot of the game, it's a lot of extrinsic progression.
Yeah.
You know, as in like, oh, you buff your character and all of that. And you buff other stuff and all that, which isn't really a lot for a roguelite, you know? Usually it's very intrinsic.
Right.
But then once you beat it, it like shifts so hard into intrinsic. Like,
oh, really? It kind of swaps.
There's a mechanic. I'm okay spoiling this because who knows if you'll even see it. Once you beat a run, you gain a thing called a Pact of Punishment, which is basically like, in the game, there's like the way you upgrade yourself. You know, it's like, oh, you add levels into certain things.
Right. But
for this, you add levels into certain like challenge modifiers to make it harder.
Oh.
So like the base run is on 0 heat.
Okay.
And usually you have a lot of upgrades and stuff for that. The highest it can go is 63.
Holy crap.
So it's like, oh,
okay.
Now it's getting that thing of like, now I want to get better. Now I want to, here we go.
Oh man. I'm kind of regretting not buying it on Switch, because I've just found playing games on PC really like...
It has cross-save.
Okay, good. But I don't know. I've already bought it, right?
True,
so it's like,
same.
It's like, like, I don't know. Playing games on console is just way easier for me. But I will definitely get to it. Like,
I love it a lot. It's fantastic. What's your number 2, Scott?
Okay, my other one I really want to talk about is... I wonder if you've even heard of this game. Okay? It's called...
I think it'd be hard for me to not.
Okay, I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's called Sudeki. Sudekai?
Put it in the chat.
Sudeki. Oops, I think that's how it's spelled.
Sudeki.
Oh, I didn't spell it right. I spelled it right. Okay, do you know what console it released on? Oh, you looked it up. Never mind. So yeah, it's an original Xbox / it's on Steam, I think. Who cares? But it's it's like a B tier, C tier developer RPG. And I saw it. Okay, the only reason it came up on my radar is because I have a list of original Xbox games that only released on a console that is named the original Xbox. But like if it's on PC, then it's also on the list. A console exclusive, if you will. And that's the only reason it ever showed up on my radar. And so I was like, okay, whatever, it's on the list. So I went to a used game store up in Beaverton, Oregon, and they had it. And I was like, oh. And it was like really cheap. And I was like, oh god. And so I bought it, and I was like, this isn't... I was worried because the cover, like, I don't know, whatever.
The cover looks...
I was judging... Oh, by the way, look up the Japanese cover, if you can.
Girl looking like the one character in Rayman 2.
Yeah. So I was like, uh-oh. And I played it, and it's pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. And I actually found myself really into it. Like the combat and the characters, mainly. Not so much like the world building. Like, I think that's not very good in it, but like the leveling system that they have is pretty interesting. And it reminds me a lot of Fable, which is one of my favorite original Xbox games. It feels like budget Fable. If like Fable and Final Fantasy had a baby, but like had a budget of like a ham sandwich. That's what that game is. And it's pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it's one that I want to talk about because like
much better. God.
Yeah, because like no one talks about it clearly, right? It came out in like 2003 or whatever. But yeah, the Japanese box art's way better.
Oh my god, yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's okay. It's an okay game. It I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, but it's like one of those where it's like it's a cool little game I found, and it's cool. So
okay, so you have one more left.
Yeah.
Okay,
and it'll
last takes.
Okay. The Solitaire Conspiracy by Bithell Games is good. Play it. There you go. It just got a free update. It's cool. There you go.
I mean, like, any last guesses on what?
Oh, what you're okay. I had to look. Okay. The only one I can think it would be. Hang on, let me look at your Switch Play games. Hang on. The only other game that I think it would be is. I want to say Animal Crossing, but I don't think that's going to be it. And I doubt it's Doom Eternal.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
And it's not Genshin Impact. And it's not Spelunky 2. And it's definitely not Paper Mario. Oh god. Okay, my final answer is going to be
baby.
what came out last year? Dragon Quest XI-S is my guess. Wait, that came out... Well, technically it came out last year on PS4.
It came out 2019. It came out 2019. Oh. And no, it is Bloodborne.
Oh, so you... Okay.
Oh my god. Holy Christ. That game is so good.
Ooh.
Is it?
Okay, remind me, what Soulsborns have you played?
Technically all. I hadn't finished any.
Okay.
I got like a solid portion into most. Bloodborne was the one I got into the least, but it's also the first one I've actually beaten.
Holy shit, you beat it?
Yeah.
Oh my
All
god.
these are games I finished. I started and finished this year.
I didn't beat Sudeki.
I know. That was just my...
Gotcha. Okay. Damn, okay, I'm looking at your trophies. You finished this, like... I didn't even notice you playing this. You must have been appearing offline, you sneaky sneak.
Let me look at my thing. Yeah, okay. If we're counting all the games I got and, like, started in 2020, in my backlog, I have a score of negative 153.
Oh. Okay, I gotta ask then. As someone who loves...
Apparently in my backlog it says that I've beaten 60 games this year. Though I don't know how many of those are like repeats and such.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's someone who...
I gotta ask. So, yeah. I've played Demon's Souls. I always have to say it right, because it pisses me off when people say it. It's like library. Like, anyways, so who's played Demon's Souls and gave up, and played Dark Souls and gave up, and Sekiro and just kind of stopped playing it, but didn't really give up. Would you recommend Bloodborne?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
I think a lot of Bloodborne,
because none of those
cuts out,
games managed to
slices a lot
grasp
of the-
me.
I think maybe the difference in aesthetic might help a lot.
Right.
Like the more Victorian and then eventual. How much do you know about Bloodborne?
I know it runs at 30 FPS on PS5.
Like about the concept of it?
I know
And-
it's like medieval, not medieval, but like
Victorian horror.
Victorian
you know?
era sort of magic-y, not mad. There's guns in it, aren't there?
Yeah, it's like gothic, you know?
Right. And I know that the DLC was really good.
Okay, so you don't know a lot.
I know
In that-
I know like the bare minimum when it comes to these games. Like I didn't know that in Demon Souls you couldn't save until you like beat the level. I didn't know that, and I was like, what the fuck? But yeah.
Bloodborne, a lot of the more like obtuse systems, I think the change in aesthetic might help a lot. It's a lot more fast paced. You know?
Is it easier?
Is it a lot of the more obtuse systems of the other Souls games are much easier. Like
Okay.
Weapon leveling, like weapon upgrading, so much simpler and understandable.
Okay.
You know, and even
What about
choosing a
leveling?
weapon to level up. Leveling, I think, is also more simple.
Okay.
Just in the terms of like, you kind of have 4 like builds to go for.
Mhm.
There's like, you have health and you have endurance. You know, so health and stamina. Put as much as you want into those. It's fine. And then you basically have like, these are the 4 different types of weapon stats. So
Okay.
it's a lot simpler that way. I think the aesthetic helps a lot. I think because it has some stuff
about the
that's
music?
like, what?
Because I
Oh
know the
my
Souls
God.
games, I don't really think about their
Oh.
music when people are like,
Oh.
gushing about them.
Some of the music in it is god tier. It's tough. I think putting it this way, it's like this is the first one that I was able to get fully through. You
Okay,
know?
right. Okay. Because Demon
How-
Souls, I basically said, oh, Armor Knight, Armor Spider, ha, nope. So that's me. Dark Souls 1 was like, oh man, I probably put like 20 hours into that game and barely made it past Undeadburg. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. I struggle with those games.
Tough. It's tough.
And
like,
Dark Souls 2 ran so bad on PS3, I gave up instantly. So
it's okay. You don't need Dark Souls 2.
I've heard. It looks good on the shelf right next to Dark Souls 1, though. I'll tell you that.
I guess putting it one way, I think your mindset that I assume you have, because most people have this mindset in terms of how to play the game in combat, is much more suiting for Bloodborne
Okay. And that's
than
the thing
other
is, like,
things. Because Bloodborne is much more like, oh baby, we going in.
well, the thing about specifically Demon's Souls, I always have to say it like that, sorry, that bothered me was I really enjoyed the game until I got to a boss fight, and then I wanted to turn it off and never play it again. Like the normal, like moment to moment, hey, it's an enemy, hey, I gotta block, hey, I gotta parry, hey, I gotta stab him in the back, oh, hey, it's a tougher enemy, I gotta use my magic. You know, I like that a lot, and I like the general concept, you know, you're gathering souls, and you gotta make it through these areas. And then you get to a boss, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I get that's the point of the design. Like, the bosses are supposed to make you try everything you've ever done. But
I do think the bosses in Demon Souls are its weakest aspect, personally.
because it's like, from what I've heard, Demon Souls' bosses are actually the easier bosses of most of the games. They're very, like, formulaic puzzles almost.
Why they're easier is because they have that solution to them, quote unquote.
Right.
Like phalanx, if you use fire,
You just...
it's
And
free.
Armor Knight, you just
And so many
dodge,
bosses are
and
like-
it's dead.
Oh, you did do Tower Knight. Okay,
I beat the spider fucking bitch, that thing. Spider Knight, whatever the fuck. Armor Knight, Armor Spider.
Armor Spider.
I did
Armor
beat
Spider.
it, but I was like, I'm done. I beat it and turned it off, literally. I went to bed. It was funny.
But
Hard
Demon
games
Souls
make me like
bosses are
really
pretty
angry.
much like they have a solution to them.
Right.
Like a lot of them have like a weakness that if you use like that type of thing, it's like, wow, this is much easier. Bloodborne and the later Souls games are a lot more like traditional. Like you learn the moves and you learn to dodge them. And maybe there's like a specific weakness where this one doesn't like fire, so you can do a little bit more damage to it.
It's like
But
Persona.
it's like It isn't like Demon Souls where quite literally the difference between using fire on a boss that is weak to it and not using it is like killing it in a minute and a half versus killing it in like 6 minutes. Yeah. It's like okay.
Okay.
I think a lot of the things are suiting, but also it's the kind of thing where it's like it might just not be for you in general.
But my problem with that is I know someone that fucking hated Dark Souls 1. Hated it. Like, despised it more than me. And yet he has come to love every single game, even Dark Souls 2. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why can't that happen to me? You know? I want that. I want that.
I feel like Bloodborne is like the best at getting people into it.
Okay.
I feel like that's the one that I hear the most of. Like, I wasn't really into Dark Souls, but this one is like faster and it has this super cool like Victorian Gothic aesthetic.
Because for this guy, I think it was Dark Souls 3. I think that changed his mind.
Or Dark Souls 3.
The faster ones too.
Into it. the faster ones are the ones that are easier to get into.
And again, it's like when I'm just holding my sword and there's one enemy in front of me in Demon's Souls and Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, it's like, okay, I can do this, you know? I like this. But it's just like every other thing it tries, I'm like, oh no, please no. Don't shoot me with arrows while you're rolling a rock down a hill and I'm stuck in the mud. Like, please don't. It's like, okay. But I don't know, maybe they aren't tough for me, maybe.
It's like, honestly, probably the most like scared I've been playing a game, honestly.
In like a horror aspect or like a stress aspect?
Like in a horror aspect, yeah, dude.
Oh.
Like, I mean, because of the gameplay and the aesthetic and stuff, it's like, oh man, this hits me. This hit me hard. Like, oh god. There's something to the degree where it's like, I'm definitely on the side where it's like things are scarier when I'm on the side of horror is scarier with guns in games, you know?
Yeah.
Just to put it bluntly, where it's like things are scarier when I have to deal with them.
Okay.
But when those things that you have to deal with are also like really competent and not like zombies, when everything feels like that first liquor in Resident Evil 2 remake, it's like, oh god.
Right.
Oh no.
Right.
But Bloodborne has some, I think especially because you don't know a lot about it, it has some layers that are like, oh my god, really? Like, what? This is super cool. Like, that I unfortunately didn't really get to have because I knew more about it.
Gotcha. I mean,
but even still,
it's disappointing because like every one of these games that I've tried, like I tried with Demon's Souls, trust me, like I genuinely wanted to make an effort, and I just wanted to be done. Like, I don't know.
What weapon were you?
I was doing sword and magic, like sword and fire. I thought about restarting it, but then I was like, I don't know if that's going to help. I think it's going to make it worse. So, I don't know.
And you do, I will say that, at least in Demon's Souls, the first level of every area is balanced to, like, the same difficulty.
Right.
Generally. You know? And the second part of Voluntarian Palace.
Okay. Yeah, that, I mean, yeah.
So if you're struggling with that area, it might have been just like, oh.
And like I like the level design too. It's like I like progressing through the levels and unlocking the shortcuts. It's like, but every time it got to like more than 4 enemies in front of me, or a boss, I was like, nope. But I don't know.
Dude, time to play some footsies, baby.
Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I just need, like, my other problem is like you can just run through it and like skip over enemies, but then it's like then you're being punished because you need those souls to upgrade and get better. So then when you get to the boss, you're fucked because you have no health and you're dead. And I hate the health in Demon Souls, by the way. If that's not a problem in Bloodborne, then hell yeah. But
what do you mean?
The way that health works in Demon Souls, where you no matter what are never gonna have a full health bar.
Oh no, that's not in there.
Thank God.
That's not.
Okay.
Demon Souls is like the middle of the road of how that taking away health mechanic works.
Okay.
Like I think it's fine because the levels are kind of balanced for you to have that type of health. Because being human is like a risk reward type of thing.
Yeah, right. And I know that.
Where it's like, oh, you have more health, but you can be invaded and such.
Okay.
So that for a lot of new players, it's recommended to be like, okay, when you turn human, run up the stairs in the Nexus and throw yourself off. That's gonna make you much easier with it. Bloodborne doesn't have that. Dark Souls 2 is the one that's stupid. That's the one where you have your max health and each time you die, you lose a portion of it.
Yeah, and the game gets harder. Like, the enemies actively get harder every time you die.
Yes. Dark Souls 3 does it well, where when you beat a boss, you get extra health until you die.
Yeah.
When you're kindled, you
heard
have
about
an
that.
extra like portion of it. Which is nice. So it's a reward for doing.
And then Sekiro has like your normal like RPG upgrade elements, and it's fun.
Bloodborne has constant health, you don't lose it. You do. It has kind of like Demon Souls where it's like health is an item, you know?
Oh,
but it's like you have blood vials and they're like quicker shots. And you gain a lot just from beating enemies. But some people do have an issue. And I ran into this. I didn't run into it for the entire game. I did at the final boss. Where eventually there might come a point where it's just like, man, I'm out of blood vials. I need to go get more.
I'm screwed.
So you either need to pump your souls into buying more, or you need to go grind.
Right.
But generally, in all the Dark Souls games, where you can buy healing items, a way to make it much easier, and in some cases break the game, is level up to what you can, and then just always spend your leftover souls on healing items.
Right, and that's generally what I've done.
Always do that, and you'll be in a much better spot.
I think, to be honest, what I need to do with a Souls game is honestly just sit down with a friend. You know?
Honestly, you might. Yeah, that's what some people need. I'd be totally down.
It would be fun.
Once for 8.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be fun to show you the PS5 and be like, hey, Gabe, carry me mentally through Demon Souls.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
so you're number 1, though.
Okay, so my favoriteest, most awesome game that I played last year that is not The Last of Us 2 or Persona 5. Honestly, I mean, this one's kind of obvious too. Like, Ghost of Tsushima is really good. It's like I said a while ago when it was my first impressions back when it was new. I said like, I said something along the lines of like, I think it's pretty good, but I don't think it'll have a lasting impression on me. And I want to redact that. Like, I retract that. Because to be honest, I've thought about the game a lot recently. Like, I had an itch to play it the other day, but I was like in the middle of Resident Evil 4, and I was like, I'll just keep playing this. And then I was at work, and one of my coworkers said that he just bought it. Like, he bought a PS4 just to play it. And I was like, holy crap. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I want to play it. But then I was like, no, I'll hold off for later. Because it's like, I've already played it, but like, it's itching at me. And I was like, okay, that's a good sign. It's a solid game. Like, the multiplayer I really want to try out, because I've heard just really good things about that, like it being totally free and actually decent and well balanced, but also kind of retaining like the single player like feel of the gameplay. And it's great on PS5 because obviously it has that 60 FPS and without any like retraction to the resolution, because there are a few PS5 updates that were like God of War, you could play it at 60, but it was only 1080p.
I would take the 60.
Yeah, same. But so with Ghost, it's like, nope, 4K 60. It's checkerboarded, but still, it's like, okay. And it's just really solid, and I feel bad about poo-pooing it because I mentioned this the other day, but when the Ubisoft Star Wars game was announced, I was like, because I said this before, but I was like, oh man, I think Ghost of Tsushima would be an awesome Star Wars game. And I still feel that because everyone's like, oh, it's just a Ubisoft open world, but it has like Dark Souls combat. That's what people say like Ghost of Tsushima is. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. And so then an open world Star Wars with Ubisoft elements, like I feel like it could be decent. But
it's a Ubisoft game with polish.
Yeah. It definitely, like Sucker Punch, man, they went from like infamous Second Son earlier in the generation, which was pretty good, like, you know, solid enough, but it wasn't like anything to write home about, especially being like the third infamous game. It was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a little tried and true, and the powers I didn't think were as good as the first two games, but that's like a personal thing. And I found the plot to be fucking useless in that game. The whole idea that the bad guy was a nerd and this is a video game where the core audience is the bad guy, anyways, I thought it was a little on the nose. But Ghost of Tsushima like actually told like a story with like it's and the way that the gameplay like complements the world, like the actions you have where you, like if you follow a fox, that fox later on might come back and give you a reward. Like if you follow the birds into the trees, some NPC will walk up to you and mention like the sky, and it's just like little things like that, and the details and the way that progression worked and all the unlocks. Like nothing about it was like I hate this. Like there was nothing that happened that I was like I don't like that. Why is it like this? It never happened. I don't really know why I didn't like love it when I played it, because I don't know, maybe it's because I was still coming off The Last of Us 2, which like blew me away. Like, and then this game was kind of like, okay, we're just kind of going through the motions and blah blah blah. But it's really solid, and I do recommend it to anyone watching this because it has a little something for everyone. And the combat was actually pretty challenging. There were a lot of parts where I took a break and stepped away from it because I was like, okay, I'm getting a little too frustrated. I need to calm down. And that's what I want from the Dark Souls games, and Ghost of Tsushima gave it to me. So, yeah. Great game. 8.5 out of 10. Good way to end the PS4.
Better than The Last of Us 2, am I right?
But yeah, it's pretty good.
Go play Bloodborne. The end.
I re-downloaded it from PlayStation Collection. Woohoo. Can't wait to play it for an hour and hate it.
Yeah, like your
I'll save it for a rainy day.
I'm like, oh no.
I'll save it for a rainy day. Anyways, ladles? Yes. Ladles and spoons. Ladles. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We shall see you sometime in February. Any final thoughts, mister?
Not much.
All right, go play Bloodborne. Ladles. Yeah. Okay, why did I didn't mean to leave the call, but I did.
That was funny.